Michigan's offense and defense lines up with Georgia's offense and defense.
I think one of the more important decisions in the game is going to be whether Kirby Smart trusts his two offensive tackles, left and right, to block Aiden Hutchinson and David Ajabo, or if they're going to generally keep a tight end or a back in to not only chip them, but just max protect. And I think that if I was Kirby Smart, that would have been a conversation I had immediately after the SEC championship game, and knowing we were playing Michigan, to lean on my offensive line coach and say, we have two NFL tackles. I get that, but so does Ohio State, and they couldn't block those two. So are you telling me that we can block them on an island, or do we need help? And I mean, more than a back staying in, chipping on his way to a route doesn't do anything against those two. Are they going to max protect? And Ohio State, I thought, was stupid not to max protect because their tight end caught like a 3-yard pass the entire game. The three wide receivers were doing tons of damage. They weren't being helped by other guys being in the routes. They should have max protected and protected their quarterback. So that would be job number one. I also think that Blake Corum as a changeup to Hassan Haskins is important. He's been a big threat for Michigan. Then he got hobbled with a ankle injury, but he's going to have another 3 weeks to get over that. And it appeared in the Big Ten championship game that he's past his bad ankle. So I think him as a changeup out of the backfield is important. I think that Brock Bowers, the Georgia tight end, is a matchup nightmare, and I don't know that Michigan has an answer for him in the linebacking core or in the safety core to match up and try to cover what is emerging as the best tight end in the country. And I also think that George Pickens, who is just getting back on the field from his ACL, it's going to be important for him and beneficial to him in Georgia that he gets another 3 weeks of rest and rehab to be more of a factor in that game against Michigan. And then the last thing I'll say
that'd be interesting. Oh, go ahead.
Just the last point was the two quarterbacks are pretty similar. Stetson Bennett's probably a bit more mobile and active and elusive as a runner and scrambler, but makes more mistakes, makes more key mistakes than Cade McNamara. So if that continues, that, of course, is not good for Georgia.
Okay, I agree with you with that Pickens. Definitely, if he comes back, I mean, he's coming back. We all know that, but if he can be effective, that's going to be number one. And then obviously guarding the tight end, I don't know if Josh Ross, he's definitely an NFL player in my opinion.
Yep.
But I don't think he can cover Georgia's tight ends there on an island anyway. I mean, he's going to have some help. And also, I agree with you with Georgia. They're going to have to figure out the ends, Jabo and Hutchinson. You're either going to have to put a tight end on Hutchinson with your lineman, and then probably pull a running back and hope that running back can help out against the Jabo because they're both equally as good. So they feed off each other. And I don't know, Mike McDonald has shown in the past that he can dial some stuff up where if he goes into the game figuring that Hutchinson and the Jabo are going to get double teamed and probably get shut down, that he can get some middle rushes in there and some safety blitzes off the corners. Well, I think it's a pretty good matchup. I'm a huge Michigan fan, obviously, but I actually predicted before the football season even started, we'd go 11-1. I figured we'd lose to Michigan State, Penn State, Indiana, or Illinois. That was my prediction, one of those games. And we did, but I think we match up very well with them. I think our offense, our targets, the wide receivers will go out there and get the job done. It should be one hell of a game. Probably a lot better than the Cincy Alabama game, but you never know. You know, Cincinnati might be a team out there that we have no clue about. I mean, they did beat Notre Dame. I don't know if that's saying much, but anyway. And then let's see, I got a bunch of stuff go down here. But, hey, so I'll just end with this. How do you feel about Michigan's future with our recruiting and transfer portal and stuff like that coming up next like 3-4 years?
I think that if Michigan's been able to recruit at the level that it has, top 10 in the nation, sometimes top 15 in that range, without being able to prove that it can beat Ohio State and win the Big Ten championship and get to the playoff, and I'm sure that's brought up and I'm sure it's talked about among top recruits, and they have to sell that. They've had to sell that in the past without proving it. Now they are one of the few programs in the country that can say, we've shown that we can get there. So I would think with really high-end recruits that would be a better selling point than what they've had in the past. Once you've proven your concept, then that goes a long way. I think that especially since the staff is young, although with success comes the issue of losing assistant coaches. So then you have to make great replacements and have to be good at that. So they're going to have to get used to that soon. There's already talk that Josh Gaddis may have one more year in him, and then he's going to be off and running somewhere. I don't know what Mike McDonald's career aspirations are, but so they're going to have to deal with that going forward. With success comes losing assistant coaches. But from a recruiting standpoint, that should be much easier than it's been.
Okay. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, I actually was talking to one of my friends. He has a YouTube channel, Ray Lego, on with On Tap Support Sports now. I was telling him, I hope we hold on to Josh Gaddis this season after what he's done. And then obviously Mike McDonald, he's very young, but he's definitely I think kids, you know, especially kids coming out of college these days are gonna pair well with a younger coach that's a good coach like Mike McDonald and Josh Gaddis too. So yeah, I definitely feel we're going to lose probably both of them within the next 2 years, probably 3 at the most. But then we got our younger guys stepping up. You know, you got Mark Hart, you got Bellamy, you got Jay Harbaugh, and whoever else we can bring up in there. So I think with the recruits and the talents we bring, and obviously we're going to lose the coaches and stuff like that, I'm hoping anyway, just for the sake of college football, that Michigan and Ohio State, well, Ohio State's been back. They've never left. This whole Michigan's back, and that we can be on that competitive level with Ohio State every single year for at least another 10, 15 years of my life. But anyway, I love your channel.
Well, thanks,
Try
man.
to get on every time. First time calling in.
Yeah, call
Great
back.
talking to you. Yeah, definitely. Go Blue, bro.